That should be ready. Let's go to our lobby. People in.
Actually, while you're doing that, I'm gonna hit the.
All right, we're back.
No, you can bring, as you're bringing everybody in. All right. All right, apologies for the delay. All right, can everybody hear us? Is everybody back on? Can I get a response?
I'm still here. Ross is still here.
Okay, good. Nathan, you still there?
Yes.
Ms. Smith? Mr. Kogel? Are you all here?
I think
All right.
Earl is here too.
All right, so can I get a motion to come out of executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Second from Craig, and all right, so any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, any opposed? All right, we are now officially out of executive session, and the floor has been turned over to Vice Chair and Liaison to Company 5, Bob Fox.
All right, good evening. As we all are aware of the letter that had been provided via the board on January 13th, 2021 to Chief Kogel, I've been meeting with Chief Kogel and his staff, met with them 3 times in person. I've talked to both Chief Kogel as well as his Assistant Chief, Warren Royce, on the phone on numerous occasions, as well as had some communication via text regarding the items, safety related, that were addressed in that letter. Chief Kogel and his staff, Assistant Chief as well as membership, were very forthcoming with that documentation and information. I've provided that to you guys as late as up to today with the pictures of the inspection stickers on the apparatus, as well as the heater unit that was placed in the box of the EMS unit that had the heater out of service. Just going down through the list this evening, looking at the stuff, there are a couple items that are going to take some time to address. Chief Kogel and I had some conversation about that. That being the addition with the bunk rooms. That is going to take some time. The addition of the washer and dryer as well is going to take some time to do that, being that they don't currently have the plumbing inside the building for that washer and dryer. Chief Kogel has reached out to a contractor and has began the process of getting information from that individual on that addition. As you'll see in the documentation that I also again provided you guys via email, for point number 2, they have the repairs have been documented through the invoices. Earl has reached out and got a contract with a individual who's going to come in and do the maintenance on his apparatus and equipment. The point 3 is where we address the unit numbering system and he and I had some discussion on this. The COG region is the county, correct me if I'm wrong, Director, the Council of Governments. And what that is a numbering system for the fire apparatus in the COG region. So basically the Metro DC region. There is a jurisdiction who uses the number 50 as part of their numbering system. So the Chief Kogel had two apparatus that indicated that 50 and a subsequent number following that, which was would kind of cause an issue if Blue Ridge Mountain happened to go mutual aid into Loudoun County, because Loudoun County is one of those COG region fire companies. So Chief Kogel was able to take the zeros off of those two units, and it also keeps it in compliance with the Jefferson County custom numbering system. They have cleaned up the substation significantly, and now has provided the capability of putting the ambulances indoors in that controlled environment, so they're no longer needing to use the space heaters to warm the back of the ambulance box. I was also, sorry, I heard somebody talking, I thought they were asking a question.
Yeah.
Documentation for each of the officers showing he or she meets the West Virginia standards for officership. Again, Chief Kogel was able to show me the training files for his personnel. They basically have a binder system for each each volunteer member, indicating their training. Also, one of the documents I provided you, Assistant Chief Royce provided me with a 6-month training program or plan for 2021. Just a side note on that, he and I had conversation and asked if I'd be interested and or willing to do some training for them. And again, more than willing to do so. He just told me to let him know what days I'm interested in doing some training for them, and I could come up. So again, that's all part of that point number 7, initial certifications, weekly and monthly training. The officers training above and beyond regular company training. Assistant Chief Royce and I also have had conversation that is something that he had been kind of trying to establish, but needed some assistance in doing so. Again, offered some of my availability to assist him with that. In talking with at least one other chief in the county, that's kind of something that they're interested in as well in doing, because they don't do a lot of that stuff either, is that officer mentorship. Documentation for appropriate driver training programs for all vehicles and apparatus. And again, in that email packet that I provided everybody are several SOGs that the Blue Ridge Mountain has in effect up on the mountain regarding the driving requirements for each of those apparatus that they have. Following down a little bit farther, there's discussion about the documentation of reasonable number of active volunteer members with WVO EMS certifications. They currently have 1 certified paramedic on their roster. They have 1 EMT who's in the process of running her calls. She needs 5 additional calls. Then they have another gentleman who is waiting on his National Registry card in order to get his, be able to practice in West Virginia. They currently have 3 members that are certified EMVO drivers. Again, the ambulances are able to be kept inside in a controlled environment. The medical supplies, one of the concerns was they didn't have a door on the room that supplied their medical supplies. They currently have a door in place. It's a lockable door at that. And then the excess oxygen cylinder is being secured. They have gone and placed a chain around the large cylinders, keeping them secure from potentially falling over. And that too is in that stored room. They also have the smaller cylinders that go in the EMS bag or the jump bag in a box with the full cylinders, and then the empty cylinders are sitting beside them. So of the items in the documentation that we provided Chief Kogel, The only one that which is gonna take some time, and I feel understandably so, is the addition and the washer and dryer.
Okay, so are there any questions? So is that the extent of your report? There were some questions about the safety station over by the school or whatever. Do you want to bring that up?
So, let's talk about that. So there's a public service building that JCSA staff are currently utilizing on the property of Blue Ridge Elementary School. And my understanding that property belongs to the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department, and the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department is lending us or loaning us or giving us the capabilities of our personnel running out of that facility. One of the concerns that we currently face due to the small size of the septic tank to the rear of that structure is that they're only getting about 7 or 8 days out of that facility without it overflowing septic onto the property. So currently, the county is getting that pumped off approximately every 8 days to help alleviate that runoff or flow of septic materials. And again, it's just small stuff. It's if you think about it in the big grand scheme of things, that's 2 individuals that are utilizing that facility for 24 hours a day. There isn't a washer and dryer in there, so that's a bathroom and a shower facility. Again, that tank fills pretty quickly, and that overflow of septic honestly creates a whole different potential set of problems. So that is something addressed.
Did Ross have something to say?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
In talking with Chief Kogel, he has also offered, if the need should arise, that they have the ability to assist with that process or getting that pumped off, so it's not a continued issue.
That facility, the sheriff could take it back at any time.
Sure. So again, there has been some discussion back and forth by the Director Kaiser with the current sheriff. So it's a new sheriff in that position, and it is our understanding, and we don't know a date and or a time yet, that it is our understanding that here at any time the sheriff could decide that he wants to reutilize or reoccupy that facility. With our 24-hour staffing in there, it's truly not set up for any additional people in that building. Nevertheless, the capabilities of the septic tank and the facility behind that. So he may decide, and again, we don't know, that he might want to reoccupy that structure without the presence of JCSA personnel.
But now we're good. We're still good.
So, but for now, we are still good. Yeah. Director Kaiser has followed up with the sheriff today, and the sheriff advised that at this point we are still good utilizing that facility as a station for our personnel.
Okay, so that's the report presented by Bob Foss, who is the liaison to Company 5. So now I'd like to open it up to all the participants of this meeting for further questions and concerns about the report and about the status of Company 5.
Is that your board members?
Anybody who's participating in this call.
Hey, Elliot, this is Chief Kogel.
Okay.
Hey, I just want to give you guys an update. We did follow through and do what we was asked to do in a timely manner. And also, I did meet with a contractor again today, and we are moving forward with our construction plans at the main station at 181 Keys Gap Road. I have a lot of people that's working with us to try to get this thing done as quickly and as fast as possible. We are talking with 84 Lumber, and we have a good possibility that all the materials and stuff is going to be donated from 84 Lumber. I'm not going to hold my breath on it. I may end up having a stroke, but we have a lot of positive stuff from a lot of people in our community that wants to help us get this bunk room stuff done to secure our staffing and stuff at our stations. So just bear with us on that facility because it's going to take a little time. It's not going to happen overnight. We got to go through permitting. The drawings is being done as we speak. I have a contractor that is going to do his stuff and is not going to charge us a dime for doing the full facility. So if you guys can just bear with us on the time, we're going to try to get it done once we get everything in line, and the sprinkler systems and stuff. Hopefully 6 months or less, 8 months at the most. Hopefully, if God's willing and the creek don't rise, that we can get this thing knocked out pretty fast.
Okay. Thank you very much, Chief Kogel. Any other comments, questions from the floor? All right. Well,
Mr. Simon.
yes.
Mr. Simon. This is Assistant Chief of Police at Blue Ridge. I'm here with Chief Kogel, also here with the President. I would also like to, and we also have our captain here with us this evening, so we can all be involved in this. I would like to say thank you to Bob False for willing to come up and assist with training for this department. We do our yearly trainings. We did 2 trainings a month all of last year, and we've got a schedule for the first 6 months of this year. We all participate in it, and like Bob said, we're willing to work with him and get some additional training done on it, so that way we have training across the board for everything, fire and EMS.
All right. What's his name? Because we need to know who's
Warren
Royce.
Warren Royce,
He's the assistant chief.
ROYCE.
Yep.
Is there anybody else with you, Chief Kogel?
The president.
Our president is present this time.
Okay.
Our captain.
We have to note that
And your
too.
captain?
Yep.
Hey, Earl, can you just give the names of those individuals? So Debbie's got to document that stuff on her,
For the minutes.
for the minutes on the roster.
Tiffany Long,
Tiffany Long,
Warren Royce,
Yeah.
Rusty DiNazio,
Rusty DiGnazio is the captain.
Okay.
Okay. Very good.
And himself. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Did you have something you want to say?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I truly believe that they are working hard to get this situation corrected. But I also believe that because of the liability thing and the employees that this board is responsible for, we need to have a way of doing a reinspection.
Okay.
Can I comment on that?
Please.
So as the liaison, I've had conversation with Chief Kogel, and he's under the understanding, Chief, correct me if I'm wrong, and is willing to maintain me as that liaison in between the two, to continue working with you guys with this process, and to keep up and make sure we keep up on the progress that we've made thus far, as well as building upon the progress that we have made.
So, Chief Kogel, what he's asking is that if, for the record here, for our minutes, you're okay with Mr. Foss continuing as the liaison for as long as it takes to clear all this up?
That is correct. I mean, we have nothing here to hide. I mean, we're here to serve our community and do what we need to do in our community as safely as possible. Bob False has been back and forth. His ears probably burn up for me, burn his ear up, but thank God for him, and I greatly appreciate what he done for us. I just like to say if there's ever an issue, if someone contacts us or Bob contacts us, I mean we'll jump on it and get the issues addressed like ASAP. I mean, so Bob, again, thank you for what you've done for us and helping us. I mean, we're just wanting to get our services restored and get back to normal operations to serve our community, so we can start collecting funds so we can put towards getting our stuff done to make bunk rooms for JCSA and the volunteers, and so we can come together again and work as a group as we're supposed to.
Okay. Any other comments from the floor? Anyone?
Yeah, Ellie, it's just Ross.
Hi, okay.
If you're looking for direction, or I guess is that for what to do with the staffing? Is that what the big question behind it right now? Whether to return or not return staffing?
Well, that's the ultimate question is, when, under what circumstances the ESA will authorize a return of staffing. And
Well, I guess on that, then I will have to agree with Twiggy. I think that was Greg a while ago, that there need to be some type of reinspection as far as nighttime help. They definitely cannot be up there yet until the new bunk rooms are constructed, of course. And I guess they could continue to use the public safety building as long as the sheriff doesn't want it. If he wants it, then I guess he'll have to continue to be back at Station 2. For daytime, my suggestion is, like, again, re-inspect to make sure it's adequate for daytime, and so they can do their daily work plus their administrative type work. That may have to be done back in public service building, and I don't know. But yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of things that need to be resolved, not prior to the staffing coming back, but just overall. There's a lot of little issues that need to be resolved, and I think that between myself and Bob and Earl, I can shed some light that later on, just as a colleague, not the chairman of the association, but I suggest that the staffing does not return until you do some kind of reinspection, and then of course won't be any nighttime staffing unless they go to the public safety building again.
okay, that's Chief Morgan. Your opinion is noted for the record. Thank you. Any other comments or questions or concerns?
So this is Chief. Hey, just on the reinspection stuff. I mean, we have no issues with you guys coming to reinspect us anytime you want to reinspect us. But just so you're aware, JCSA staffing does not stay at our stations during the day. They stay at the public safety building, or they're in Charlestown at Citizens Fire Company or somewhere else other than at the fire station. They come here in the mornings, they do their checkoffs, and we do not see them until shift change or unless there's a call. So the issue of being at our station should not be a major issue, because they're very seldom here once they do their checkoffs. And I have no issues with them going to the public safety building. I mean, as long as they're running calls and doing what they're doing, I have no issues with that. We did offer to help, and one of our community people has offered to help take care of the pumping of the system over there until everything is done, or until the sheriff decides to take his stuff back. But anytime you guys want to do a reinspection, our doors is open. Come do a reinspection.
Okay. Any other further comments or questions or concerns from the floor? All right, so we're going to turn this back to Vice Chair Foss here, and liaison to Company 5. And you're the one who is leading this whole operation and investigation. So what we need to do is formulate a motion as to how to proceed going forward. And before we formulate that motion, what would you suggest that we put into that motion?
So I think at this point, couple points, a couple things that we need to consider or address was obviously staffing going back, a couple options, either 12-hour shift or 24-hour shift. And then if it is the 12-hour shift, obviously the contingents that the crew would come back to company 2, run out of station 2. A couple things that need to be thought about and concerned or considered would be, do they run a chase car out of company 2? Do they run a 2's ambulance out of company 2? Or do they run, again, the possibility or potential maybe of 5's ambulance out of 2? Again, I don't think we have much control over the possibility of having 5's ambulance out of there. That would have to be something that Chief 2 and Chief 5 discuss and come up to an agreement on their own.
Well, what's the issue with the ambulance? The ambulance, how many ambulances does Company 5 have?
2.
They have 2.
Yep.
All right. And are they operational? Are they now, are the maintenance records up to speed on those?
Yes, and Chief Coco finished the final, one of the issues and concerns that we had was the heat in the back of the box on the one ambulance, and that was fixed today.
Oh, okay.
So both of the ambulances are currently operational, inspection stickers and so forth and so on. But so there really isn't an issue with the ambulances, is the unit that we want our personnel to staff if we go the 12-hour route, what they want them to run out of the station at night.
Okay.
Again, that's going to have to be something that we can't make that decision whether if it's Company 5's ambulance. That's going to have to be something between Chief 2 and Chief 5 because they both respectively own their EMS units and it's Company 2 station. Does that make sense?
No, I don't understand.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Go ahead, Mr. Morgan.
No, this is Ross again.
Go ahead, Mr. Morgan.
Okay, now, I totally agree with Bob, because I don't think right now the staffing has never been pulled from 5, my understanding, right? The staff has just been relocated to Station 2, am I right? And they're running out of a chase car up to the mountain to get the ambulance and go from there.
No, they're not using their ambulances are completely out of service, Chief.
Okay. So since their ambulances are back in service, and you've already done all that, and I think that's wonderful, but you know, maybe they can, if you can use public service building, the employees can stay at the public service building during daylight hours or 12 hours a day. At night, if Earl and Larry Herbst can make an agreement, let one of the 5's transport units be housed at nighttime at 2, and if we're called an egg and run it out. And also don't forget the fact that the volunteers of 5 can kind of step up to the plate too to help get that secondary unit out ahead of them. But I'm agreeing with what Bob is saying is if the public safety building is available, let the people stay there during daylight hours with the transport units at their Station 5 or 5-1, and at nighttime, and again, that's all between Earl and Larry Herbst. If one of the transport units can be housed at Station 2 at night, and those 2 individuals can jump in 5's unit and go to the call.
So,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Earl.
what I mean, if
makes sense too.
If they can come to the mountain during the day and run the 12-hour shift, why can't they stay at the public safety building and just take the chase car to the station and pick the ambulance up?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, I guess you're right.
24-hour shift here instead of us
Yeah.
control.
Doesn't that,
you're right, Earl. I wasn't thinking about the public safety building being a 24-hour. You're right.
but doesn't, if you run a chase car up, doesn't that increase the response time?
Oh.
Well, I mean, if they go to the public safety building, they're there for 24 hours. When the CAD system dings inside the building, they get up and get dressed and go to the station. I mean, you're only looking at 3 to 4 minutes and
Right.
on the street. You know, I mean, there's no difference. If you're in a chase call coming from Charlestown to get an ambulance on the mountain, you're looking at 8 to 10 minutes. I mean, time to get out of bed, traffic. I mean, it's you know, and that's dry weather. That's not inclement weather.
Okay.
Yeah. No, you're right, Earl. I wasn't thinking about the public safety being a 24-hour again. But yeah, as long as they can use the public safety building, yeah, I'm with you on that. And if for some reason the sheriff takes it back, then we'll have to, you have to look at a plan B.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that the good Lord's willing that we can get this bunk room stuff going pretty fast, and as long as we can get the permits and stuff and get things going to where we can get this thing knocked out. I mean, if any of you guys have any clues of sprinkler system people, I've been calling and haven't had much luck, but I need a contact for a sprinkler system company to kind of come give us an estimate and tell us what we got to do to get where we need to be.
Okay. All right. So then what it boils down to is, Mr. Foss, what is your recommendation based on what we have discussed tonight?
I'm going to go with the recommendation that we do 12-hour shifts.
Okay.
At this point, and let the day side out of the public safety building after the staffing goes and checks out apparatus at both stations, run out of the public safety building, and night side they run out of company 2. Utilizing, unless something can be worked out and we can discuss it further or bring it to us, utilizing the chase car from company 2, or choose
Okay. Well,
I'd let them work that.
yes.
right.
Two, two,
The
two.
operations of it are to be determined, but okay. So what you're recommending is that we do restore the 2 employees to company 5.
Yes.
All right.
Sides.
Okay. So, and that's for daytime 12-hour.
Mhm.
All right. Now, before we vote on that motion, I would like to formulate the motion this way, because if we're going to do that, there needs to be some accountability. So,
And contingencies.
and contingency.
Yes.
So then what I would propose the motion say is that the employees be restored. However, there needs to be a checklist created, supervised by you and whoever helps you to do it, that's fine, but supervised by you, a checklist of items that need to be done and as tasks. And from what I understand, there's additional items that over time can be addressed, but the urgent ones are the ones that have already been presented to Company 5 as priorities. So for somebody to come up with a checklist and then before the February meeting, that documentation be presented as part of the agenda for the next meeting and a status report.
Okay.
So that would be approximately 30 days from today. All right. Any discussion on that motion?
I was just gonna sum it up. Restore conditional, 12 hours conditional daytime,
Right.
part-time
Right.
from PSC with continued and routine inspections of the station by Bob. And that company 5 is agreeing to assist with pumping the system at the PSC.
And Bob Foss is volunteering to do an ongoing training?
Yeah, assist with additional training.
Okay. All right.
Hey, Elliot,
Yes?
can we, or I'd like to add that either
This is Tony.
Alan or Bob be a part of that. They went up there initially. I think that someone needs to help Bob Foss out, and I think that should either be Alan or Bob to help Bob Foss.
Okay.
I agree to that.
Okay. All right. So can you read back the motion?
Wait, so real quick, I think Twiggy had a comment.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm just really concerned. You know, we took the move to protect the employees. What are the employees gonna think? I personally think that as a board, that we need to ask the employees what they think. I'm serious about that
I hear you.
because of being, issues with safety. And I think they deserve to understand that the reason we did what we did was for their safety. And I think that they have a right to say something.
Nathan, do you
And
have
I,
a
and I
comment?
think that's why I want either Director Kaiser or Bob Burner to be a part of that, because I think we can't make this everybody agree. Everybody's on board 100% all the time, but we do need somebody from management, from overhead, from emergency services to go up there with Bob Foss and make the determination that everything's good for our employees and for what's good for the Jefferson County citizens.
Okay, so then,
Yeah, and policy decisions are what the board makes. I don't make policy decisions.
all
But
right,
to me, it does make sense that, Chief Kaiser is an extremely experienced fire person and EMS person. And so, in my opinion, his expertise and also his knowledge of the employees and knowledge of what is proper in fire service would be invaluable, to get his opinion. And so I suppose that the board could move forward today, could move forward and ask Chief Kaiser to make a determination about the staffing issues. I mean, that's what he does. Or the board could have another special meeting in, 15 days or something to determine how
We
to
could.
proceed after Chief Kaiser looks at it. But I just think his opinion is extremely important, and Dr. Teresa's opinion is extremely important.
all right, so then, that further modifies the motion. Ross, did you want to say something?
Me?
Yeah,
No.
I saw your square light up, like,
Oh,
so
no.
that means,
Well,
I thought you were trying.
well, this is not part of the motion. This can come back later, but I just wanted to remind Company 5, Earl and all of them, that the best way to help remedy a lot of it, if you're really concerned, and I know you are, but the citizens of Blue Ridge is get the volunteers out there to help run the ambulance. We cannot rely on ESA 100%.
I mean, Ross, I understand that, but I think we're trying to do a double standard here on Blue Ridge Fire Company.
Exactly.
I mean, we come out and run calls. We assist on calls. I run a lot of calls to assist the ambulances. We have had drivers out to assist on driving and split the crew up on calls, and they refused to split up because they said he was not allowed to be split up, go back to the stations and run another call. I understand y'all's concerns, but we're not a bunch of violent people up here. I have been here practically all my life, and I don't know where all this stuff is coming from employees of welfare, of us doing something to them. I mean, hell, we take and feed them when they're here. When we do our pizza stuff, we feed them. We don't charge them to feed them. We take good care of them guys. And I mean, I don't know where this stuff is coming from for the safety of your employees. We would never in a million years hurt your guys for any reason. Or our own. I mean, this is pathetic. I mean, you guys are making us out to be a bunch of criminals. I mean, I just don't get that. I mean, I respect everyone, and I would take and give anyone the shirt right off my back, especially JCESA employees, because they deserve it. They work hard, and I give them what they need. I tried to help them guys as much as we can help them. But y'all talking about our volunteers coming out helping, if it wouldn't be for JCSA staffing, a lot of these departments in this county wouldn't get their trucks out either. I mean, so there's no difference. You can't double standard Blue Ridge Fire Company because of volunteers. We all work just as well as everybody else does. I mean, I understand what you guys are saying, the volunteers come out and help, and I'm glad to come out and help. But stop and think about all the other stations that runs all these calls that JCSA staffing is doubled up on their calls because there's no volunteers available. We're in the same predicament. I mean, let's come to reality here with this volunteer stuff. I mean, there's no station in this county that cannot say that JCSA does not run their calls because they do.
Well, I know what you're saying. Earl, I agree with you, but I'm not going to extremes on that. I'm just saying that you need everybody, all the citizens, even the non-members, need to come in and help you all join, become EMTs and whatnot, and help. So that's what I'm getting at. We just need to get more EMTs on the roster, or help run them. That's what I'm mainly getting at, the whole thing. I don't think none of the employees, I don't think are after you at all.
I mean, we're trying. I mean, we're trying hard. I mean, I'm honestly, we try hard. I mean, that's like when the bunk room stuff. We're going to beat the streets down to get the bunk room stuff. I mean, I try to make every effort to do everything that we possibly can on the Blue Ridge Mountain. We don't have the support on the Blue Ridge Mountain that everybody else has in Jefferson County. I mean, Baker and Middleway, they're kind of in the same boat we are, and Friendship Fire Company, but all the other departments is pretty well established with good business support and all that stuff. We don't have that up here. We support we get the support from our community. I mean, I understand we need more volunteers. We need to do this. We need to do that. I mean, I understand that, but it's no different than any other company in this county. I mean, it's really not. I mean, that's like a did inspection sticker. I mean, I know there's departments in this county running around with their trucks with did inspection stickers on them. But I don't care about what they do. That's not my problem. I was asked to fix a problem. I fixed our problem. But I don't want you guys thinking that we are going to harm any of your employees in any given way at any given time. As I told my employees a long time ago here at the station, I'll tell your employees, I would take a bullet for any of your guys to take and protect them. That's just the way I am.
Well, Earl,
Chief Kogel, I just want to say that we know that you're looking out for everybody. These are safety issues that we've pointed out. It's nothing. I think we need to get away from being able to provide volunteers and just get back to the safety of employees and the standards of what should be set at every station. So I think we were just kind of offshooting, and I just want to get us back to we just want to take care of these safety issues and get everybody back to work.
Yes, ma'am, and I greatly appreciate you saying that. And that, but I just had to lay it out because, I mean,
well, Earl, I just want to say, I mean, nobody's accusing anybody at Company 5 of intentionally wanting to hurt anybody, So the only thing, as Dr. Tree said, is that the concerns were over their safety, so that in case something happened to them accidentally because of, unsafe conditions. And that's what Craig Simpson was trying to say.
And I understand y'all's point directly. Right. I mean, I understand that, but it can happen anywhere, not just Blue Ridge Mountain.
So what we're trying to do is resolve this issue in a way that ensures accountability and that we can go forward and that everything starts to get back to normal. And that's what we're trying to accomplish here. So,
and I greatly appreciate it with 100%. I really do.
So I'm trying to formulate a motion here that can accomplish that, because Mr. Foss has already recommended that we go back to a 12-hour situation up there, and Ms. Jackson suggested certain criteria to be included in the motion, and then Mr. Simpson also, has suggested certain criteria. So really, the upshot here is that we're trying to get a motion together here that achieves all of this and yet allays everybody's concerns that everybody has over this. So let me see if I can put together a motion here that will get us to that spot. All right, so Mr. Foss has recommended that on a 12-hour basis, the employees be restored. And that would be with the following conditions: that Captain Berner and Director Kaiser deem that the employees have been, well, let's just say that they've been advised and their feedback has been solicited with regard to this, and that a checklist is created by Mr. Foss, and he can delegate that to anybody he wishes, whether it be staff here at Station 11 or another board member, and that a checklist is established and progress is monitored, and that we then come up with a status report within 7 days of the next meeting in February. And then at the February meeting, we assess the status and the further progress and what needs to be done further. So in that way, we can get the staffing back up onto, and that's the motion. And in that way, we can get the staffing up into Company 5 on that basis. Is that motion okay with you, Bob? Okay, is it all right with you? All right. Is there any further discussion about this motion?
Mr. Chairman, I have a quick question, if it's all right,
Sure.
for you or for Mr. Foss regarding the 12-hour shift period. Is that something we increase to 24 before the bunks are completed, or is that something that'll just be a matter of time and getting all our checklists done?
I think it's gonna be contingent on the checklist.
It'd be contingent on the checklist, says Mr. Foss.
Oh, that's great to know. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. So, any further discussion, questions, or concerns about the motion? Do I get somebody? Do I get somebody to make the motion?
I'll make that motion.
All right. Bob Foss makes the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Tony seconds. Any further discussion on the motion? All right. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those against? All right. The motion passes. So it's a decision by Director Kaiser and Captain Berner as to how quickly the employees are reinstated. All right. I'd like to make one more motion in that we enter into the minutes the contingency plan that had been implemented by the ESA with regard to ambulance service. We don't have to read it, just have it inserted into the minutes. Can I get a motion for that?
Make that motion.
A second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Anybody against? All right, it passes. All right, so that moves us on to,
Mr. Simon,
yes.
so how soon are we planning on reestablishing our staffing?
That's a decision for Director Kaiser. Director Kaiser, do you have a thought on that?
I don't. I'll
So,
do something tomorrow.
So we're still in limbo.
Well, we do need to resolve that we resolve that question within a certain amount of time.
We've gave all this.
How long will that
Tomorrow
take?
morning, Bob.
It took 1 hour to take us out of service. It shouldn't take an hour to put us back in service. I mean,
This is a vendetta against Company 5.
wow.
What's that?
Tell our lawyer to make sure she's better.
Tomorrow morning.
Discrimination
All right.
is a vendetta.
All right, the decision will be made tomorrow morning, and who made that comment about this is a vendetta?
They'll be put on the mountain tomorrow morning, 12-hour shift. And station
Wait.
2 in the evening.
Who made that comment about this is a vendetta?
The president.
And the name of the president?
Chief Tony, you said
Huh?
to take 12-hour staffing tomorrow?
Tiffany Long? Okay. All right, we're noting that for the record, Tiffany.
Great.
All right.
You want me to speak to it?
Director Kaiser said that the service will be reinstated tomorrow morning.
Okay, thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
All right. That brings us, there's no further business. Any board member requests? We don't have any on the agenda. Any spontaneous requests? Any unfinished business? None. New business? None. Public comment. We had one person that had submitted a request to do a public comment, and that person is not on this call. So public comment is, there is no public comment to this meeting. All right, any board member comments? Can I get a motion? Huh?
So I'd like to make one comment.
Okay.
My personal opinion is that the Jefferson County Emergency Services Agency Board, those of us who've been given this responsibility, our number one purpose is the safety of the residents of Jefferson County. Our number two responsibility is for the employees of JCESA. Those are number one and number two. That's what I got onto this to do. And I don't want anybody to ever think that it's a vendetta or that we're working against or for anybody in particular, other than the fact that we're working for the citizens of this county and then the employees of the JCESA. And I think we will do as much as we can for anybody within our power.
Yeah. Good.
I'd like to add to that the same thing. As medical director for JCSA, Summit Point Raceway, and Charlestown Races and Casinos, I only want what's best for Jefferson. That is my goal. I want Jefferson County to be served with high quality pre-hospital care. And I want to constantly improve on what we've been doing. And that is my goal.
Yeah, and I think that comments like that this is a vendetta are counterproductive and uncalled for. And I'd like that in the minutes. I mean, I live up on the mountain. And the last thing anyone here wants is for there to be any compromise in service up on the mountain or anywhere in the county. And I want that in the record. Any other board member comments? Can I get a motion to adjourn? Any discussion? Oh, do I get a second? Second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anybody against? All right, the time is now 8:32. This meeting is